Hello, my name is Kiriath, and today we are going to have a little chat about Age of Sigmar Stormbringer. Once again, I apologise for the dreadful sound of the voice. It's just not going. Whatever this is, whatever horrendous plague has been visited upon this house, it's just not leaving. I can't shift it. It's really getting on my nerves, especially since tomorrow I was going to stream total Warhammer 3 all day, which I might still do, but just in absolute silence, because everyone knows that all the best streamers just sit in silence, right? That's how it works. Anyway, enough of the instant tangent. This is the latest Partworks magazine for Warhammer stuff in general, and it is Stormbringer. AOS, of course. Do not let this landing page fool you. It looks like it's Stormcast Eternals versus Cruel Boys, and let's be honest, we've seen that already. We've had that. Dominion was a thing. We've had that already. This is way more than that. So you remember that when they did Warhammer 40,000 Imperium, so the last run, they had like a whole load of different things on the Imperium side. So you had Space Marines, you also had Sisters of Battle, you also had Adeptus Mechanicus, and it was all of that, but versus Necrons. And so the Necron side was just Necrons. What they've done with this is they've gone full like Grand Alliance. So can't see like too clearly off that picture, but we do have a slightly larger one where we can see a little bit more. There is so many different sub-factions in here. There's a lot, alright, compared to Imperium, which I thought they were being kind of brave in that they decided to make the main thing a mix of different factions on one side. They've really gone for it this time. So under Grand Alliance Order, we've got Stormcast Eternals, we've got Caradron Overlords, and we've got Sylvanas as well. And then on the Grand Alliance Destruction side, we've got the Cruel Boys, we've got the Iron Jaws, we've got a Man Crusher Gargant, so like the smaller one, not the Mega Gargant, the normal Gargant, and we've got the Gloomspite Gits as well. So effectively, you've got 3 different factions on one side, and you've got 4 technically on the other, because the Man Crusher Gargant can go pretty much with anything, if I remember right. I've never used a Man Crusher Gargant or a Mega Gargant as an ally in any of my AOS forces, because 2 of them are Gargant forces, and one of them is Soulblight Gravelords, and I already have monsters in that anyway, so that's something that I've yet to do. I've yet to dabble with the allies side of things in AOS, but there's a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of variety in here, and I was in favour of it when it came to the Imperium magazine, and I think I still kind of mostly am, but it is leading me to wonder who this is actually aimed at, right? So when we look at what we've got with this, we've got all of that, and then there's also the premium stuff. Also, subscribe today and get 1 free issue and 5 fantastic free gifts. Do you want a mug? That'll really set you up. I don't know. But we've got the premium stuff. Now for the premium stuff, you've got Indrasta, you've also got the Cruel Boys Killer Boss, both great models, both out of the Dominion box. Then you've also got a Grunstock Gunhauler, which is a super weird choice, in my opinion, and a Dankhold Troggoth. Now, I say that is a super weird inclusion because of all the stuff on the Order side of this. The Caradron are like actually not all that well represented. Like there's not really any numbers here, so it looks like what you've got one of the war bands that they had for Underworlds, I believe it was. Then you've got just 1 group and 2 HQs, and that's all of the Caradron presence in the whole thing. So if you want to improve that really quite minuscule force, you can get that Gunhauler, but I don't really know what that would necessarily add. And this is where we get into the thing of I'm not sure who this is aimed at. Because in theory it's great, right? In theory it's really cool. And in fact, I would argue that there will be people out there who do think it's really cool, because you've got the Grand Alliance approach. So it's not just Cruel Boys versus Stormcast Eternals. We don't need that. We already had Dominion. You can probably still buy Dominion. So we don't need that necessarily. But there's a lot going on, right? There's a lot going on. I would argue that if you're a new player, this might not actually be a very good idea to get into this. because you've kind of got a mix of different things which you can use together, yeah, but if you wanted to focus on one force, I don't think there's enough Sylvaneth in there for it to, like, really grab you to be able to start a full Sylvaneth army, right? The Caradron presence in there is really tiny, so I don't know, you probably wouldn't focus on that. The Stormcast Eternals have the most presence, they have the most stuff in there, and you've got dragons in there as well, so the Chariot and the Lord on, is it Aquila? I can't remember what they're called. You've also got, like, Bastion Carthalos, and you've got Gardas as well, and you can get Indrasta too. These are all great models, and they're like kind of front-centre hero models. It feels like Stormcast still have the focus on that side, but there's enough Sylvaneth to break it up, along with like a token force of Caradron, it feels like. Now actually, in terms of numbers, the Caradron I think actually outnumber the Sylvaneth, but the Sylvaneth have got that massive Tree Lord, and let's be honest, a centrepiece model like that does a lot to draw the eye, doesn't it? And it's a similar story when it comes to the destruction side of things. Again, on paper, it's a really cool idea. You've got Cruel Boys, you've got Gloomspite Gits, you've got the Gargant, and you've got the Ironjaws. Like, that's a really cool combination, but the Cruel Boys are kind of overshadowed just by the sheer number of Gloomspite Gits that are in this, right? You've also got the Hobgrots, which, for me, now that they're next to the Gloomspite Gits, aren't all that easily discernible as being different. They don't feel that different, you know? There's a clear difference in silhouette between like the Cruel Boys and the Ironjaws. It doesn't feel like there's that much of a clear difference between just normal Gobbos and Hobgrots. So, I don't know, it's a weird one. Like, good in theory, but I don't know who it's aimed at. I don't think it'd be great for new players. I'm also not sure that established players would get a huge amount out of it. You'd be better off just picking up one issue or another depending on what you want, like only grabbing the ones that you want, only ordering the issues that contain models that you need. Now if you're looking to do painting, like if you're looking to just collect models and paint, this is actually really good. This is really good. There's so many different like armor types and textures and surfaces and like there's loads of different stuff. I mean just on the order side alone, the way that you paint Caradron is not the same as the way that you paint Stormcast, which is not the same as the way you paint Sylvaneth. And you've also got the dragons in there as well, which are their own special thing. Like, there's a lot of variation in there. So in terms of just building up a collection and enjoying painting them, can absolutely see that. It just, I don't know, I think this one feels a little overly complicated. Because with Imperium, it was a bit more complex because you had so much on the Imperial side, but you had a cohesive force on the other side in terms of the Necrons. This has got so much stuff all over the place that I think it's maybe a little bit over the top, and I'm just not convinced of the way it's been put together personally. Now, of course, that's all personal. You may completely disagree, and that's absolutely fair enough if you do. But yeah, it just feels a bit overwhelming, I guess. I mean, I say this as someone who did all of Mortal Realms. Like, I signed up for Mortal Realms and did that all the way through to when it finished, and I thought that was a really good way of doing it. And yeah, I just think maybe there's sometimes there can be a bit too much going on, you know, and I think this falls under that category. Now, in terms of how much you'll save, it'll be about the same as previous times, so this lot will probably roughly come to about £1,000. I believe that's what Imperium came to, and Mortal Realms as well. So it'll be less than that, like 750 I think was about the total for the last few runs that they've done. So it'll be something like that. If that's wrong, then I will update a pinned comment letting you know what the actual figures are, but it should be about there. Now, as it stands, I believe this is UK and Ireland only currently. Like they did before, it'll be a case of if it gets enough pick up, if enough people go for it, then they'll expand it out to other places as well. That's what they've done with the last few. They kind of do a trial run over here, and then if it does well, it gets expanded out. So I guess we'll just have to see whether people take this one up. Honestly, there's some really cool models in there, and I would be tempted to pick up specific issues, but I don't know that this is one I'm going to sign up for all the way through, to be honest. But that's just me. You may completely disagree. If you do, let me know what you think in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click all the things. As I say, I'm going to hopefully be streaming Total Warhammer 3 tomorrow on the Twitch channel. I will leave a link in the description to that. We're going to start about 9 o'clock and just go until I pass out, pretty much. So yeah, we'll be doing that. That'll be a lot of fun. Feel free to click all the things, Patreon, video, subscribe, all that stuff. Click it if you like, don't click if you don't want to. And as always, there's an affiliate link in the description for Admin Games. if you're in the UK and Europe, and for Noble Night Games if you're in the US, which you can use to support the channel if you would like. I leave it in your capable hands. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.